Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird, true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Creepy File Number 4, written by El Chanco 9. Secrets of the Woman Whose Stare Still Gives Me Chills. This happened back in 2015. At the time, I was 21. Every morning I would wake up to go for an early run. I had developed a route that was a giant loop. One side of this loop was up in the main street of the small Utah town that I was living in at the time. My twin brother would go running at the same time I did, but he would run the loop in the opposite direction that I did. One morning, I was running down the main street and was passing this apartment building. In front of the building was a cluster of trees. My view of the tree cluster and the building was obscured by a tall hedge, so I couldn't really see them until I was right in front of the building and past the tall hedge. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a woman standing among the trees and staring at me. A chill runs up my back as I keep my eyes forward as I don't want to be rude and look back at her. It feels as if she follows me as I run past. I keep on running and this creepy encounter slips from my mind. I pass my twin about 2 miles later and finish my run. I get home and my twin isn't back yet, which I find strange because he normally beats me back since he is in better shape than I was at that time. He shows up an hour later and tells me what happened to him. Since the direction he was running in does not have a giant hedge to obscure his view, he sees the woman among the trees, only she wasn't standing like I had perceived. She is hanging by her neck. As my twin gets closer to the trees and realizes what he has seen, a man comes running out of one of the apartments, wailing. He picks her up and sets her on the ground and lets out wails of mourning. My twin calls the police and stays to give a report. Although I didn't realize what I had seen out of the corner of my eye that morning until my twin told me, I think back on that and a chill still runs up my back as I remember the stare I saw out of the corner of my eye from a woman who was not alive. Case File Number 504, written by MasqueradingMuppet, Secrets of the Great White Light. I've seen and felt a number of weird things in various national parks, Bureau of Land Management land, and national forests. I'm actually going to get my Wilderness First Responder certification this March because of some uneasiness last summer in a remote park. But really, only this and my other posts could be described as a glitch in the Matrix. I did a volunteer program after college and we frequently went on nature retreats as a big group. This happened in 2018 at a campground just east of Mount Rainier National Park. It was so remote that no one in our nearly 50-person group had cell phone service. Our only tie to the outside world was a ranger that came to check on us once a day. We weren't allowed to have alcohol or drugs at these retreats, so no, none of us were intoxicated in the slightest. There were a couple cabins throughout the campground, and if you walked through the trees a bit, there was a sizable lake. A few friends and housemates and I wanted to look at the night sky because we knew it would be full of stars. This is Washington State, so all the trees are massive and block out most of the sky. The only place we'd really be able to see the stars would be over the small lake, so we head down to the lake area despite it being pretty cold. There's 2 logs there for us to sit on as well. We settled in, waiting to see some shooting stars. It was a running joke in our house that we needed to see 5 shooting stars when camping or in the woods in order to fall asleep. 4 out of 5 of us in this group all lived together at the same time, so we are all steadily watching the night sky for about 10 to 15 minutes when this happens. It only happened for maybe half a second, but we all saw it. For the shortest amount of time, half the sky went completely white. Just stark white, like a sheet of paper was placed over half the night sky, right down the middle. After a moment, one of us said, "Did everyone see that?" We all confirmed what we saw. If you read my last post, you know of course I was wanting to figure out what it was. I never found a solid explanation. And similarly with my other friends, these friends also told me to stop talking about it whenever I brought it up months or years later. It wasn't scary to me, just again super odd and I don't have an explanation for it. It made no sound and was gone before any of us could comprehend it beyond what I described. It wasn't lightning. I'm from the Great Lakes region, so I know lightning. It wasn't an airplane. No idea. Case Notes, File Number 504, My first thought was that this could be an atmospheric meteoric burst, where a meteor essentially explodes when it collides with the thicker part of Earth's atmosphere. But I don't think this would entirely light up the sky in pure whiteness. Also, there would absolutely be a sound heard after a delay, if this is what it was, because it's basically a giant explosion in the sky. I don't really have a solution for you on this one, just strange indeed. There have been plenty of reports of the sun blinking out of existence for a second, where everything goes dark for people in a specific area, but entirely white? That I don't know. Maybe the moon's reflected light was somehow amplified? Case file number 505, written by Matua-kween. Secrets of my glasses, returning 3 years later. About 4 years ago, me and my boyfriend were watching TV, getting ready to go to bed, and I took my glasses off and put them on a computer chair that was next to our bed, along with our phones, just like I did every single night before going to sleep. I woke up in the morning and my glasses weren't in their usual spot. I brushed it off, assuming I must have left them in the bathroom or something, so I got up and started getting ready. An hour later, and still no sign of my glasses, I started panicking. I had at this point checked the entire bedroom, including the bedsheets, under the bed, any crevice they could have fallen into, etc. I checked the bathroom and they weren't in there. I even went out to my car to see if I left them in there for some reason, which I know I didn't because I was watching TV with my boyfriend the night before and I'm freaking blind, so I know for 100% certainty I had them on before bed. And as expected, no glasses in the car. At this point, I'm freaking out because we were supposed to be leaving for a vacation the next morning, and this was my only pair of glasses because the other pair I had was being repaired at the eye doctor. We proceeded to absolutely tear the entire room apart looking for them, like mattress off the bed style, looking for these glasses, and they were literally just gone. Our flight wound up getting pushed back a day due to snow, and on the day that we were supposed to leave, my eye doctor called to tell me my other glasses were ready to be picked up. Weird coincidence that we weren't even supposed to be there that day, but wound up by chance being able to go get my other glasses. Now a huge time skip, 3 years ahead to December of 2020, and me and my boyfriend are packing up to move into a new apartment, and I open the first drawer of our desk, something we use frequently, keep in mind, to sort through what we were going to keep. And what do I see sitting on top of everything else in the drawer? My freaking glasses. No dust, looking like they had just neatly been placed there for me to find. Me and my boyfriend were in shock because we know for a fact we would have seen those glasses in there. For one, when we tore apart the room, and two, literally any other time in that 3-year span that they were missing because again, we use that drawer on a regular basis. To this day, we still joke that we just had a ghost who stole my glasses because we really had no other explanation for it. Well, that is until I started looking more into glitches in the Matrix. Bonus file, written by Etadenod. Secrets of a woman with reversed feet. As a kid, 11 years old, I was once in the forest looking for lost things. Then I came across a small pond, really small pool, in the forest. A woman was standing in the water. The water was reaching her knees. She was looking in the other direction and I could not see her face. She had white hair and some odd-looking clothes. They looked extremely old-fashioned. She did not turn to me and she did not move at all, but I could see her breathing. I came closer and then she left the water and stood on the forest ground. As she was raising her feet from the water, I saw that her feet were reversed. I mean, the toes and heels were reversed. I was shocked and frozen, but I freaked out and turned around and began to run quickly after. While running, I turned back and could see her face now. She was looking at me with an evil grin and an extremely pale face. I went home and told the story to my parents, and they did not believe me. I have never forgotten this encounter and want to ask if you have ever heard of people having reversed feet. I went to this forest multiple times afterwards with my friends, never ever alone again. However, I could not find the pond where this occurred. Searching on the internet, I found the creature. A ciguapa. I have encountered this in Europe. This gives me the chills. The picture on the site has white hair. The woman I saw looked the same, but she was white. She had extremely pale white skin, but the hair and everything else looked the same. I'm almost crying. I had never thought of this incident again until today.